the contribution of tourism to both countries' GDP is high. Sports is a great way to bring people together, and recently the Nepal cricket team was in Zimbabwe for the first ICC World Cup qualifiers. Even though Nepal lost the match against Zimbabwe by 166 runs, they had a good tournament, and Nepal has officially been granted one-day international status. Both Nepal and Zimbabwe has huge trade deficits because both the countries are import economies. However, the GDP of Nepal is high compared to Zimbabwe. And therefore, a team from Zimbabwe visited Nepal in 2017 in coordination with UNDP. They primarily wanted to understand how to organize remittances inflow and study how small and medium enterprises are effectively run in our country. We hope this learning will benefit Zimbabwe economy. The tourism industry in Zimbabwe has a lot of investment opportunities to offer with its world-class safari parks and natural wonders. Zimbabwe has one of the largest concentrations of the mineral deposits in the world. Zimbabwe has the world's second largest platinum reserve, great quantities of iron ore, and high quality diamond deposits which are greatly demanded on the global market. Zimbabwe also has one of the best qualities of tobacco in the world. These are the opportunities that Nepalese investors could potentially benefit from. I have personally visited Zimbabwe for a week, and it was really a very good experience for me. I had spent 3 days in Harare and 5 days near to the Victoria Fall and also the national parks also. And it was a really wonderful experience for me in Zimbabwe. And it is a very beautiful country with warm-hearted people. We hope that His Excellency visit will promote good relations and help promote trade and tourism between our respective countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pawan, for your kind welcome remarks. And today I think Excellency will have a keynote address. Then we'll be having a interactive session for 15 to 20 minutes, so that we'll be happy to listen your questions, so that Excellency is very much eager to discuss more on the economic opportunities between Zimbabwe and Nepal. Then we'll go with Mr. Shah. So now I request His Excellency for your keynote remarks.
Namaste. Namaste. First and foremost, allow me to acknowledge members on the dais. I'll start with my brother, MD Agrawal, and the former Honorable Minister Ganesh Shah, and my brother, Sunil, who is the CEO Asian Institute of Diplomacy and International Relations. And I would also want to acknowledge all business persons here present, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me first and foremost to express my gratitude to the Asia Diplomacy and International Affairs and the Business Executive of Nepal, and my brother Mr. Agrawal, for arranging this very important conference. It would be amiss if I fail to recognize the hospitality that have been availed to myself by my colleagues, and I'm very grateful. It is also my great pleasure to participate in this conference, and I hope it will then give birth to a number of meetings we are going to have in future. This is just the beginning, and we are going to be walking a very long journey together. We are gathered here today to talk about a country of vast opportunities, a country of unlimited resources. Zimbabwe has taken a paradigm shift on the investment thrust, formulating different policies and set out the key principles that will guide to enhance Zimbabwe's investment policy. The government of Zimbabwe, led by His Excellency President Emerson Mnangagwa, has opened the country to investment and has spelled out its commitment to these all investors who have been the livelihood of our country's economy. For this reason, the government of Zimbabwe recognizes the essential role for foreign direct investments, hence my presence here. The people of Zimbabwe are the cornerstone of the success of every investor, and we are under the SADC. And in terms of investments, one can say the population of Zimbabwe is 14 million. But all the same, if you are to invest in Zimbabwe, you will invest within SADC region, and also COMESA, which has got a total population of 600 million. So there is a lot of opportunities, investments by investing in Zimbabwe. If you invest in Zimbabwe, whatever business we have, it's not only for the Zimbabweans for all, but it will then benefit the entire region. We are talking of countries like Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, up to Tanzania. We are all under COMESA. Hence, it's a great nation, and we are actually on the center of most of these countries. And again, we are well connected to most of the countries in Africa. Hence, that is the country to invest in. Zimbabwe has got a lot of opportunities where you can invest in. First, I want to talk of mining. Zimbabwe is one of, I can say it's a blessed country in terms of minerals. We have got, so far we've got about 50 types of minerals, which you now know. But those who have explored before, they are saying we have got almost close to 60 minerals. And out of this, I can only mention a few, which my brother have also mentioned. We have got large reserves of gold. Platinum, we are in the top 5 of the whole world. And coal, we have got close to 40 billion metric tons reserves of coal. And some of these are green fields, which needs people like you to come and invest in. We also have minerals like chrome, diamonds, copper, nickel, tantalite, granite stone, natural gas, and recently we have just discovered that we also have lithium, which is used to make batteries. We are looking for investors who can mine, who can also do value addition and beneficiation to the minerals. So it's up to you whether you like the green fields or you like the brown fields to come and invest in Zimbabwe mining. And as far as mining is concerned, what we have done is we have changed our policies. Any investor can invest 100% of his equity, except for diamond and platinum, where we are still working for new, policies. But any other mineral you can come and invest on 100%. Of late, what we used to do is we used to have 49-51%, 51 for the indigenous, right? And then 49 for the investor. But we've now opened under the new dispensation, and hence, I don't know why you're waiting. You should come and to come and invest in Zimbabwe, because the environment is very conducive for you to do business in mining in Zimbabwe. Secondly, we have got you can also do business in manufacturing. We grow cotton, but what we have been doing all along, we have been exporting cotton as raw as it is. But we want investors to come in and invest in textiles and clothing. That's number one. Number two, we are also looking for investors in agro processing. We are also looking for investors in meat processing and canning. We have got a lot of fruits in our country, but some of the fruits are going to waste because We need investors to come in and invest so that they can produce juices from some of these fruits, and also canning of some of the fruits so for export. And also we are looking for investors in chemical manufacturers. And then another sector which you can invest in Zimbabwe is energy. We have got, we don't have enough energy per se, and as such we are looking for investors to invest both in hydro or renewable energy. Those who want to invest in solar, you can come and do so. And we will provide the land for you to store your solar panels, and what is required is your investment. And Zimbabwe is also agro-based. We are into agriculture. Like my brother said, we grow crops like corn, wheat, but wheat not to much extent. But we grow a lot of corn and a lot of tobacco. Our tobacco is the best, I can say the best in the world. Most of the countries import our tobacco to use it for blending. The Chinese have been importing much of the tobacco. So the time is now for you to come to Zimbabwe and to invest in agriculture. We can also, we've got a lot of land. We can also come and do contract farming in Zimbabwe. And over and above that, within farming, you can also invest in agrochemicals, agro equipment, that is tractors, retovators, plows, you name it. And we are also looking at people who can grow other crops like vegetables, flowers, because the land and the environment, the climate is very conducive to some of these crops. We are also looking for investors who can come up with sugar milling companies. So far we've got about 2 sugar milling companies, but we are looking for other companies that can also further use produce from sugar to come up with electricity through ethanol, and also maybe produce molasses for livestock. And we are also looking for those who want to come and invest in dam construction. You can be lucky. There was an investor who came sometime to Zimbabwe to construct a dam. Like I'm telling you that Zimbabwe has got a lot of minerals. Whilst you were digging the dam, we were surprised as to where the soil was going to. Each time you dig the dam, you will not see the soil. Only to discover that there was gold within the soil. And they then offered to build another dam. So this map is quite rich. So we are actually looking for investors as well to come invest in dam construction. Also, another area of investment is in health and pharmaceuticals. We have got the infrastructure in terms of health, but what we lack is the modern equipment, the state-of-the-art medical equipment. And we are looking for players to come and invest, and also into pharmaceuticals. And we are also looking for investors who can come and twin and do business with some of our hospitals and some of our private players within the health system. And then you can also invest in transport. We have got a rail system, but it just needs to be rehabilitated in some areas. But we are looking for investors who can invest in rail, and especially on train and wagons. Because the wagons which we have are a bit old, and we also want to expand because we have now resuscitated and opening our industry. And hence we want players in that area. And also under ICT, we are looking for players who can come and do e-business. That's another area which is lacking in our country. And we are looking forward to have people like you, people who can also come and do infrastructure development in ITC. We are most welcome. And finally, we are also looking for investors in tourism. Zimbabwe is a very beautiful country. Like my brother said, we own Victoria Falls, which is one of the largest, one of the 7 wonders of the world. We are looking for people, for investors who will come and build new hotels. We're talking of cricket. We need also more grounds for cricket. We can do what we call BO2, build, own, and transfer, or build, own, and operate. Right? And we also have the very wild animals, safaris. And we are proud to have the big five in our country. So, ladies and gentlemen, Zimbabwe is a safe destination for investment, and my government guarantees investment security to all investors in line with the international best practice. My country is a signatory to several bilateral and multilateral agreements, which include the following investment protection agreements: the Overseas Private Investment Cooperation, the Investment Guarantee Agents, the International Convention and Settlement of Disputes, the New York Convention of the Enforcement of Arbitrals Awards, the United Nations Convention and International Trade. Zimbabwe offers several incentives to foreign investors, such as fiscal in the form of corporate tax, and you can also have build, own, and operate as you wish. So we're also coming up with what we call special operation, special economic zones, where you can do your business freely without any interference. So, ladies and gentlemen, the time is now for investing in Zimbabwe. One may ask why maybe we've also been checking on the internet as to why the economy had gone down. We were colonized by the British. We got our independence in 1980. After we got our independence, in fact, we went to war to fight for our liberation. And then we entered into an agreement with the British to say, we'll give you your country on the conditions that you don't change the constitution for 10 years and you will not touch the land in the next 10 years. We were obliged. We spent 10 years without touching the land. And then after 10 years, we went back to the British and said, now 10 years has elapsed. You promised to give us our land. So the time is now for us to give us our land. But the British said, no, that arrangement was between you and Margaret Thatcher. Now I'm Tony Blair, I'm a different person altogether. I'm not going to give you the land. So as Zimbabweans, we said, no, the best thing is for us to go back to war. And we said, now we've taken the role of the country, we are running politically, we are running the country. So what we then decided is take over the land. And we took our land. Right? And those who wanted, because you would find one person owning something like about 5,000, 7,000 hectares. And the only 6% British who were in Zimbabwe were owning 96% of our land. And we were landless. So we took back our land. And after we had taken our land, then the Europeans and the British wanted to teach us a lesson, including America. They put us on sanctions. We could not get any balanced payment, any credit lines, anything. It was like a closed country. And they cannot even import even fuel. They wanted later for us to return back the land. But we said, no, we'll never do so. We said we'll die with our land. So we started growing our own crops. We started growing our own economy with assistance with countries from the East, India, China, including Nepal, and also other countries like Russia. And we started growing our economy. And we are now peaking. And now we've got a new dispensation. And we are saying now we are now moving as an isolated country. We are now open for business. And those Europeans also are now making, actually rushing also to come and invest in Zimbabwe because they know how potential the country is. And so I said I should come and meet my friends from Nepal, the ones who have been assisting us all along, that the time is now for you to come and do business in Zimbabwe. I thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for highlighting the possible economic opportunities for Nepalese entrepreneurs in Zambia. And I hope the entrepreneurs would visit Zambia in the coming days under the leadership of Mr. Agrawalji. And already Mr. Pawan agreed to bring the delegation to Zimbabwe for the exploration of the business for the Nepalese entrepreneurs. And is the idea of ambassador to come to Nepal is to introduce Zimbabwe with the Nepalese entrepreneurs. and to open a permanent channel between Nepal and Zimbabwe to strengthen the economic relation by opening the honorary consul in Kathmandu, Nepal. And he was supposed to present his credential before the earthquake, but due to some reasons he couldn't able. But he is going to present his credential in next month, I guess, after the election would over in Zimbabwe. Then I believe it is his first visit, and he's trying to extend his term for another 4 years, and I wish he could do that, so that he would come to Nepal and visit us regularly, so that the Nepalese business entrepreneurs and Zimbabweans could work together for the bilateral economic relations. And I think Mr. Agrawal would play a very important role in coming days. His Excellency and Agrawal had a very good discussion, so that the relation would go in that basis. And I hope the visit would really make sense, and Excellency would be visiting other parts like the Pokhara and other parts to see some of the touristic destinations. I think the relationship by this way would help us to gain some of the new ideas or the business opportunities. That is how we can grow in communities together between Africa and Asia. So without any delay, I encourage the business members to ask the questions, so that Excellency would feel good to reply to you. I think expecting some of the questions, so I request to you for asking some of the questions. Anybody from the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Excellency, could you please enlighten us briefly on the economic...
And the breakdown of the economy, and then, the revenue streams, and then contributions coming from different sectors, if possible, the volume of export, import, and the contribution of tourism sector in the overall economy. And I think Mr. Pawan Agrawal had also earlier briefly touched upon something to do about remittance. So where I have no idea whether Zimbabwean people are working overseas. So if you could highlight that part also, it would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, any other?
Thank you. Excellency, I just want to know that what is the figure of overseas tourists inward in Zimbabwe, which is related to, as you said, that it's opportunity for hotel and all. So, what is that figure? And secondly, as you said, that agriculture is growing in a growing stage. So, in your country, the agriculture is again based on chemical fertilizer, or you are just focusing on organic agriculture? Because the trend in the world market is totally changed. So can you just focus on that? Thank you.
Anybody?
Your Excellency, I just want to know that, as I am an energy producer in Nepal, I just want to know that how many rivers are there in Zimbabwe, and how many hydro projects are already there in Zimbabwe?
Last question, where you say how many rivers are in Zimbabwe. We have got one of the biggest rivers, Zambezi River, which stretches from the Congo into Zambia, into Zimbabwe, right? And we've got several rivers, and over and above that, we have got, I think, one of the largest in the world man-made lake called Kariba Dam. Is the largest, and is the one which we really survive on in terms of electricity. And we've got about 3 plants there for hydro, and it actually produces almost 70% of hydro for the country. But we also want to move from hydro to thermal and renewable energy. Why? Because we've learned our lessons. Because 2 years ago, the same dam was getting low because of climate change, and we're going to have challenges in electricity. So we are now focusing on having both hydro, thermal, and renewable energy. We have got quite a number of plans for thermal, which just require a rehabilitation, right? And we have got also close to about 4 or 5 centers, which require hydro. And if you are to visit Zimbabwe, we will take you to some of these sites so that you can have a start tour. You can meet the energy providers. And the beauty in investing in energy in Zimbabwe is that when you're in Zimbabwe, we don't send bills for usage of electricity. No. You buy as if you are buying the way you charge your phone, talk time, is the way you buy electricity and then you feed on your board. Right? So if you buy certain units, if you are running low, it will give you a noise to say that you are running low. Then you go. So there is no problem of non-payment. So if you invest in energy, definitely you recoup the money. And also addressing part of the question, then you can easily also remit repatriate your profits. That's in energy. And then on agriculture, like I say, Zimbabwe is agro-based. We use both chemical fertilizer and organic. But what we have been using is more like chemical fertilizers. Like, for example, I'm a farmer. I grow maize, which is corn. So we use ammonium nitrate. That's the major fertilizer we use. And we then also use herbicides to kill the weeds. Right? So we are looking for also investors. I didn't mention in my presentation that we are also looking for investors to invest in fertilizer, because currently we have got 2 fertilizer plants, but it's not meeting the demand of the farmers, and as a result, we end up actually importing fertilizer. But the components like phosphate, which you can use to make fertilizer, we have got mines for that. So what we are just looking is for investors to come and invest in manufacturing of fertilizer. And you won't go wrong in investing in fertilizer, because Zimbabwe, we don't grow our own maize. We grow for the region, because we are known as the breadbasket of the region. So definitely there always demand for fertilizer. And as for revenue on tourism, I can say the rate in terms of, we actually have a contribute revenue of about 15% to the GDP. But tourism had gone down initially because of propaganda by the Western when they had put sanctions. They will say, no-go area is Zimbabwe. But when you get to Zimbabwe, you will find that this is the best country to be in. Friendly people, and there has not been any war or any terror in Zimbabwe. And as such, now the tourism business is growing. And also a lot of, like those who play cricket, when they come to Zimbabwe, like he has been to Zimbabwe, as soon as you get to Zimbabwe, you fall in love with Zimbabwe. And most of the investors, I was talking to one of my colleagues who was talking of Wilma on edible oils. Yeah, we've got a guy by the name Somali, who is running a company under Wilma. He used to commute from here, but now he's now settled, and his family is coming. He comes from India, from Gwalior, but now he's in Zimbabwe. So as far as then also we have a large Indian community, right? So there's no fear for you to come and invest or even stay in Zimbabwe. And as far as diaspora are concerned, like my brother said, Zimbabwe, we are number 1 in terms of illiteracy rate. We are the ones who provide the manpower in the region. You go to South Africa, you see our doctors, our engineers, they are there. You go to Botswana, the same. You go to Zambia, the same. Right? You go to UK, you go to Australia, you find Zimbabweans operating, they are working there because of the education system in our country. Because from primary, after doing grade 7, from grade 1 to grade 7, secondary, we use the board, we write what we call O-level, which is managed by Cambridge University in UK. So our standards of education is very high, and as far as manpower is concerned, it's in its abundance. And Zimbabweans are very hard workers, wherever you go, and very educated, and very humble, and very friendly.
We had one more question about the remittance and all also, I think.
Yes.
His Excellency. How the system, like the monies.
The money is, if you come invest in Zimbabwe, you have your 100% equity, you own your 100% equity, right? And then you can repatriate your money into your profits, right? And then if you are to come up on road, rehabilitate or in transfer, let's say the railway or whatever, we agree on a certain period, and we will also be monitoring the flow of revenue. As soon as we get to that period, but if you have not recouped, you can extend the period, and you also have tax holidays. Yes. And again, currently we are using the foreign currency, we are using US dollar. So you don't have challenges of conversion in terms of from our currency to US dollar. Yeah. The reason why we had to move to use the foreign currency, US dollar, and other currencies is because of the sanctions. Because our men were like a newspaper, because they wanted to run our economy before. But very soon after a year or so, we'll then introduce our own currency. Yes.
Thank you, friends from the business committee, for the questions, and Excellency said a brief insight story. So now I move to the most respected politician and the member of the ruling party. I think we'll be happy to hear your views, so that you know how Zimbabwe and Nepal could work, how we can work in coming days. Please.
Thank you, Sunil. The Excellency, His Excellency Maxwell Ranga, Ambassador of the Zimbabwe, Pawanji, and the other business community, Bimalji, who was formerly the member of the Constituent Assembly, because from the two, our Constituent Assembly, there are few what we call the business community were also represented in our legislation, I would say, constitution making process. And as all of you know, Nepal has a three-pillar economy: government, private sector, and the cooperatives. And here we are all sitting mostly from the private sector. So first of all, I will thank Excellency for enlightening the business and trade opportunities in the Zimbabwe. You see, now these countries were just liberated few years before. Say, I think you liberated in 1940?
No, 1980.
1980.
80.
80.
Yes.
So that's why I say very recent. In other terms, we say recently, you see, because most of the countries liberated during the 1950s, so yes, in the 1980s. So on these countries who have just recently liberated and trying to build their national economy, everybody is seeking the opportunity of the investment. And basically every country's investment is in the sector where is there the competitive advantage. I think so far I've heard, and we know in the Africa, one of the basic competitive advantage of Zimbabwe is the mining industries, you see. So I say you're talking about the lithium, you see. Now if you go to the solar industries, now the lithium batteries is coming, you see. So I think we, the business community, are also doing business in the mining sectors, as we are also having mines. So might be, I think, there one of the biggest potentiality of investment or joint work or collaboration in the field of the mining industries, you see. Second thing, what you talk about is the both countries, I say, Pawan told the 7 wonders of the world. we are having both the tourism sectors, you see. So tourism is another very big investment sector where also we can think and work out together. Lastly, I think you raised the question of the energy. The worldwide there is energy problems, and especially now the whole world is moving towards the renewable energy. Recently in Nepal we have done few good things on the renewables, you see, large biogas plants. I think in business community you know that I don't know, Sanjay or Agrawal of the Bhadwa was recently a big 3,700 meter cube biogas plant, who is refilling the gas in Nepal and selling to the hotels and doing the fertilizers, organic fertilizers. Another plant has come in the Shangja, another is coming in the near the Pokhara. So in the renewable energy, I sometimes used to talking to our community that Nepal should not be known only as a country of Himalaya and Buddha, but should be known as a country of the biogas and renewables also. So we are doing a lot of things, and I think with the Nepal government is also working very closely, you see, for the investment from the other sectors and sending the investment to the other part also. So lastly, what I listen to all of you, I think Excellency, though we call it a diplomacy track 1, but today evening basically it is a diplomacy on track 2. It is B2B. The business community is totally talking to the Zimbabwe business community. And certainly these sorts of meeting enhance the relationship between the two countries' people who are having the thinking or working for the better lives for themselves, so that everybody will get sufficient food, nutritious food, water, electricity, and others basic humanities what is required for the humanity. So I think I will thank again Sunil ji for organizing these events, and I'll thank you, Excellency, for enlightening the business and trade opportunity and investment opportunity in Zimbabwe. Pawan ji, thank you very much for organizing and meeting the business community, especially in this, what is a charming evening, I'll say. You see, so at least you get acquainted and a little refreshed, so that you have the more energy to work for tomorrow morning. So thank you very much to everybody, and especially thank you to the organizers for giving me the opportunity. And lastly, whatever I can do and whatever in my capacity, any help and support will be required, I am all the time with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, respected Shahji, for your valuable time for us and giving us some of the insight about the Nepalese economy and also the Zimbabwean trade and economy. Of course, we need people like you who are really advocates for the business community on a regular basis, and we must hope that some of the contribution could be done by yourself also for the renewable energy and the water resources, which are the major interest part of you also. So we have been looking at that part as well. And I would also like to thank His Excellency for coming from the Little Kathmandu in our invitation. And I would also express my heartiest gratitude to Mr. Agrawal for organizing this reception and inviting all of the respected business community members to meet with His Excellency. And before going for the dinner, I request Mr. Ganesh, Ganesh to hand over token of love on behalf of the organizers to His Excellency Ambassador.
I think you'll remember. I have a lot of photos with the African friends where I was studying in my student life in the Moscow.
Thank you.
Long time.
Thank you very much.